Would like to briefly take a moment and say thank you to everyone who has continued to join us over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. The Holy Bible teaches us, rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. If you'd like to join us over there, it's only $1 per month at the base level, and even less than that if you sign up for an entire year, and no matter what level you choose, it's fully refundable. First 90 days, no questions asked. What's the difference between YouTube and Patreon? At Patreon, we can take the gloves off. There are no censors. We have, of course, the Patreon firewall, and then we also have Vimeo that we're partnering with, and that gives us one extra layer of protection where we can speak our minds and we can take advantage of rights that we used to enjoy in this country freely. Would love to have you over there. There are hundreds of exclusive videos, never before seen here on YouTube. Please, if you have the ability, would love to have you over there. You won't regret it. God bless all of you, and thank you so much. Found something enormous. Absolutely enormous down here. And I don't have any good explanation for it. I'm sure there probably is, but it's hidden in time. Because you can't see it in modern imagery, you have to find it in 2010. And it's this enormous red line that I have outlined here. And of course, we find all sorts of strange things around it. But I'll start down here in the middle of nowhere just to show you what I'm talking about. Now, time slider. We are at November 2012, and I don't think this is going to show up here. As you can see, it just looks like a red line out here in the middle of nowhere. But as we go back in time, 2011, 2010, give me 1 second. I've actually drawn my line directly over it in this particular part, but there are these, and they never uncover in high res. It looks like a giant hydroline, like a giant electrical tower. And what you see every 0.6 miles, and I'm circling this thing right here, are these three dark structures that are sticking up out of the snow. And sometimes if you turn it down into night, you can see the contrast, but there's a giant line of them. And I'll put the start and end locations for this, but it runs for 400 miles. No lie, 400 miles. I'm going to zoom out so maybe you can, I should have not drawn my line directly over them. I'm kind of regretting that right now. But as you can see, every about 0.6 miles, these things occur. And in some places it looks like they might have been damaged. But in no place, I have not found a place yet, where they uncover in high res what they are. And I'm going to zoom back out here to show you how far they go. It goes right through this site we're going to cover in a minute. But it tails off out here and ends at what is clearly some type of a tunnel structure under the ice. Like I said, this is December 2010 imagery. And let me zoom in here. Okay, so there they are. And like I said, I've turned it down up here next to the time slider. There's a thing where you can turn it from day to night. And it will contrast. For some reason, it contrasts better. You can see things that are hidden in the snow, the dark and the light. And of course, I'm going to go forward real quick here. 2011, turn the lights back on. 2011, 2012, 2013, they disappear. And you cannot find these after 2013. It's only in the 10 and 11 layer that these appear. And like I said, you have to be looking really close to find these. And oddly enough, we'll go back down to this site. There is something odd down here as well. It's definitely human. Here's the crazy part. Now, here's our line right here. I'm going to turn the lights down a little bit so you can... There we go. And it goes through an area that kind of uncovers. And of course, we find this hidden corner again. And you don't see them, but they do appear out the other edge in low res. About every 0.6 miles for 400 miles. But here's the crazy part, right? I'm going to turn the lights back up. All right, so this is 2010. So you see this thing out here in 2010, that's just the ice. And it looks like over here there might be the start of a runway. But watch what happens when you go forward. And to do this, I don't know if you guys are looking in the upper left. See how the time slider changes? You have to get not only the right time, the right location, but the right aspect. All right, here we go. Okay, see all the different lines that popped up here? And they disappeared again. Here's 2014. Does this look familiar? That's why I labeled it what I did. I don't know what's going on here, but to say that it's not connected to... See, there's another thing here that goes on for about 40 miles. And it looks like some kind of an antenna array. And then there's a path that goes off this way. And another path that comes down here. It looks like those tunnels we've been tracking for a long time. But here it looks like there's a collapse, because the tunnel changes direction. And it almost disappears. And this is the place where the high def for this ends. So very odd. And of course this ends, and I don't know if you can see this. There's a very distinct line here of something that's being covered up with imagery. And this is where this long 400-mile cable system ends down here. And I don't know if it's cable system. I don't know what these things are. But whatever it is, to create something this large would have taken an immense amount of effort. Even if they're just towers. 400 miles worth every roughly half mile. That's 800 tower sites. Even if you were going to be able to put up one a day, that's a almost 3-year project. And given that it doesn't show up after 2010 and 11, it was done prior. So clearly they put it there for a purpose and then are now hiding it with time. And it's an uninterrupted line. If I remember right, I think it's 215 degrees. This thing runs 35 to, depending on what direction you're going. 35, 215. And like I said, it runs right through a site where you can either see this in 2010-11, or you can see this, for lack of a better description, slaughter site. So I know it's 20 minutes. I don't normally do videos this long, but the one last thing I want to show you guys is something pretty amazing. Now I know it takes a little bit of looking at it, but this here looks to me like you have a head, you have a wing, you have another wing over here, and you have what looks like 2 legs and a face. It looks like a very large, it's either a statue of a large winged creature, human or humanoid type winged creature, or an actual one. One of the two. It's a very, very large thing, whatever it is, whether it's real or whether it's a statue or some type of a carving. But I'll put the link for this, and you can look at it for yourself, but it's right on the edge of a precipice. And we've found all sorts of strange pathways that have led to places where no human being would be. So the idea that there might be the ability for certain beings down here to fly from location to location is, I don't think, out of the realm of possibility. And it's in an area that we've covered before with different things, and I won't waste your time with that, but there have been a lot of things that I'm still looking at down here, and I was hoping to find one other one to show you, but 22 minutes. I don't think I'll waste a whole lot more of your time. But thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. I hope the earlier part of this video cleared everything up about why we do what we do, how I ended up where I'm at, and where we hope to go in the future. So just remember, there's always a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things, and we're going to try the very best we can here to do them the right way. So like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.